Good morning. It's Monday, May 25th. Here's what we're working on.
I'm Simone Gavros reporting live on Hamilton Mountain. A popular park on the mountain is set to have construction begin later this year after it was delayed for 2 years due to soil contaminants.
A senior member of Premier Doug Ford's cabinet is expected to resign today.
And the Spurs tie their series against Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's OKC Thunder. Thanks for joining us this morning. Steve is back in for Brian again. And, oh, Steve, that was some weekend weather-wise.
Yeah, we were just talking about that just before the show, that the Ticats game on Saturday. I can't remember worse weather for a live sports
Can
event.
you?
It was dreadful. No, that was the worst I've ever seen.
Glad you were inside.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Except maybe the Fog Bowl way back
Yeah.
when. A lot of people may not remember that one, but that's what it is. It's still going to be a little bit foggy today as well, as speaking of fog out there. And a minute past 6 on your Monday. So, again, it's not the fog behind your eyes that you're seeing if you're just looking outside the window this morning. It's the fog that's out there, especially in the Hamilton area. Environment Canada is saying, be aware of that. It will burn off over the next little while. But as you can see here, looking at one of our cameras, our Aldershot camera, traffic's moving along okay. The sun, you can see it just a little bit there. But, again, it's foggy conditions, and especially on upper levels, so just be aware of that. Otherwise, we're in pretty good shape. Let's move around the Golden Horseshoe area. We'll start down in the Niagara area, QEW, Glendale, and St. Catharines. So again, fairly foggy there, a little foggier than in Hamilton, Niagara Street. Still wet out there, so there has been some showers in the overnight period, but looks like things will clear up now, and we'll get some nice dry conditions. Actually, I think you're going to like the weather for the next 6 or 7 days. Moving through the Hamilton area, again, it's early, but we're starting to see a slowdown already. Toronto bound, moving away from us here in this picture over the Burlington Skyway Bridge. East of Brant Street, traffic's moving along okay. Up by Pearson Airport, let's check that. And again, a fair amount of traffic there, but right now moving along okay, and it looks like the rain has stopped there again. So, good start to the day. Again, it's starting to build up early, so just be aware of that. And foggy conditions, especially in the Hamilton area. That's another thing to watch out for over the next little while, but we'll check on that coming up, and also look at your weather in a few minutes.
Thank you, Steve. A park on Hamilton's East Mountain is going to stay closed for another year. It was fenced off by the city 2 years ago because of soil contamination. Simone Gavros joins us from Martin Mountain Park Drive with the details. Good morning.
Good morning, Annette. Now, this is the park that's on Concession Street, not too far from Juravinski Hospital, but you can see that it still remains gated off here behind me, and it's been like this since April 2024. Now, the gate itself just wraps around the whole grass area and the playground. There's also signage on the gate that lets residents know exactly what is expected to happen here and when construction is supposed to start. Now, in an email to CHCH News, the city says that construction is slated to begin sometime this year, with the park slated to reopen in 2027. The work to install a new playground, spray pads, sun shelter, and walkways was put on hold after the soil contamination results came back. The city says a soil sampling process found high levels of metals like zinc and petroleum. Now, the park was closed out of an abundance of caution. Ward 6 Councillor Tom Jackson gave an update back in September last year, saying that specialists worked to get the soil back up to standard over the last couple of years. Now, the city also says that residents can use some nearby parks as well in the meantime, and that's what they've been doing as this park has been closed for 2 years. I'll be talking to some people in the area and reach out to the councillor as well for further comment about this prolonged closure. Rick, back over to you.
Thanks, Simone. Thousands of community and social service workers across Ontario are set to walk off the job this morning, including staff supporting people with developmental disabilities, mental health needs, and children and families in crisis. More than 4,500 OPSEU members at community agencies have issued strike notice. Services affected could include developmental supports, child treatment, youth correction, community living, and child protection. Workers say years of underfunding have left agencies short-staffed, with compensation tied to Bill 124 remaining a key issue. Now, the province says it has made historic investments and expects agencies to have contingency plans. But workers argue backup plans can't replace experienced frontline staff and say they still hope a deal can be reached.
A high-profile member of Premier Doug Ford's cabinet is expected to resign today. The Globe and Mail this morning is reporting that MPP Caroline Mulroney will step down from cabinet and from her Toronto area riding of York-Simcoe. A letter obtained by the Globe and Mail says Mulroney pointed to two events that have led to her decision: the death of her father, former Prime Minister Brian Mulroney, and the fact that she and her husband are now empty nesters. Caroline Mulroney is president of Ontario's Treasury Board. She was first elected in 2018.
Premier Doug Ford's government is heading to court to block the release of documents tied to the province's failed blue license plates. The move follows an order from Ontario's Information and Privacy Commissioner to release records requested by the Canadian press through Freedom of Information laws. Critics say the legal challenge, along with recent changes to Ontario's FOI rules, raises concerns about government transparency. The blue plates were introduced in 2020 but were quickly pulled because they were hard to read at night. The government has never publicly explained how it planned to remove the plates already on the road.
Parliament is set to reconvene today for the round of sitting days before the summer break. By Wednesday, Prime Minister Mark Carney is set to be in New York for a two-day trip to meet with business leaders there. He's set to meet with CEOs, entrepreneurs, business leaders, and money managers, pitching Canada as an investment destination. Carney is also set to speak to the Economic Club of New York. That's happening on Thursday.
Canada and China's foreign ministers are expected to further the recently updated Canada-China strategic partnership during a visit this week. In a statement released by Anita Anand's office, Xi and Wang Yi will discuss trade and investments, global security, and other issues. It follows Prime Minister Mark Carney's visit to Beijing with Anand, where the updated partnership was announced. It was the first visit to China by a Canadian Prime Minister since 2017.
India's Commerce Minister is visiting Canada this week with the largest ever Indian business delegation to another country. More than 100 business leaders are taking part as India and Canada push to strengthen trade and investment ties. India's Commerce Minister is set to meet with our Trade Minister, Maninder Sidhu, Prime Minister Mark Carney, and Foreign Affairs Minister Anita Anand. Canada and India are trying to revive stalled trade talks, hoping to double trade between our two countries to $70 billion by 2030. A deal appears to be emerging between the United States and Iran to end their war and open the Strait of Hormuz. U.S. President Donald Trump said over the weekend that a deal had largely been negotiated. It's not clear, though, when or how the deal might be finalized. Sources say Trump spoke after calls with allies in the Middle East, including a separate call with Israel. And coming up in business news a little bit later in this half hour, we're going to see how talks of this deal have impacted oil prices. China has launched a 3-crew spaceflight, which will see an astronaut in orbit for a year. The Shenzhou mission will be the first time a Chinese astronaut has been in orbit. It's viewed as a crucial step in China's ambition to send humans to the moon's surface by 2030. The rocket lifted off from a launch center in northwestern China yesterday, carrying 3 astronauts to China's space station. Crew's expected to do a number of scientific projects in life sciences, material science, fluid physics, and medicine. One of their key experiments is going to be the full-year stay in orbit by one of the crew to study the effects of a long stay in microgravity. It's part of China's preparations for future lunar and possible Martian missions. Prime Minister Mark Carney has officially welcomed the FIFA World Cup to Canada, saying that soccer has flourished in our country since its first World Cup appearance in 1986.
40 years ago, I sat in the basement of my house and I watched every game of the 1986 World Cup. The game has flourished. The alleyways of Brampton, l'École d'école de Trois-Rivières, coaching academies from Victoria to St. John's. Our team's getting better and better. Our women's team winning gold at the Tokyo Olympics in 2021. Our captain, Christine Sinclair, breaking the all-time international goal-scoring record, a record she still holds. Our men's team qualifying for the World Cup in Qatar. Yeah. partly because of very clever scheduling, including playing the U.S. in Hamilton in January in a snowstorm. And we won.
Now, Canada, the United States, and Mexico are all co-hosting this year's World Cup, with the first game for Canada on June 12th.
Hamilton's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and San Antonio's Victor Wembanyama have given us the NBA's best playoff series thus far.
Wembanyama, I think he's going to go. I think he's going to go from midcourt.
Wemby's half-court heave at the end of the first half gave the Spurs a 50-38 lead at the break, and they went on to top the Thunder 103-82. Wembanyama finished with 33 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, and 3 blocks as the Spurs evened the Western Conference Final at 2 games apiece. Gilgeous-Alexander had 19 points for the Thunder, who were held to their second lowest point total in the first half in the last 4 years. Game 5 is tomorrow night in Oklahoma City.
Balu-Tabla tries to spin. Coulage takes the ball. The strike is absolutely pinpoint perfect.
Joaquim Coulage scored the winner in the 87th minute as Atletico Ottawa handed Hamilton's Forge FC their first loss of the CPL season. The 19-year-old Montreal native curled home the winning goal as Ottawa topped Forge 2-1 at Hamilton Stadium yesterday. Ishmael Okiteko-Kun scored Forge's lone goal just 3 minutes earlier. The loss dropped Forge 1 point out of first place. In what was a virtual must-win game for Colorado, the Avalanche built a 3-0 lead in Las Vegas, only to see it and their potential Stanley Cup run evaporate. Thomas Hertl broke a 3-3 tie halfway through the third as the Golden Knights stormed back to beat Colorado 5-3 and move within a game of their third Stanley Cup final appearance in 9 years. Vegas can complete what would be a stunning sweep over the President's Trophy winners tomorrow night. Only 4 NHL teams have ever come back to win a series after trailing 3-0.
Coolins onto the backhand in the slot. Throws it across. One-timer off the bar. Had a beat. Ding the iron. Alacom walks in. Another one-timer and they score. Game over.
Liam Lefebvre scored twice, including the winner in overtime as Chicoutimi slipped past host Kelowna 3-2 at the Memorial Cup. Chicoutimi improved to 1-1 with the win, while the Rockets dropped to 0-2. Kitchener and Everett face off tonight in a battle of 1-0 teams. What a day it was for racing fans. A hat trick of excitement with the Indy 500, the Coca-Cola 600, and the Canadian Grand Prix. After pole sitter George Russell retired on the 30th lap with an engine issue, Mercedes teammate Kimi Antonelli won his 4th race in a row after taking the checkered flag at the Canadian Grand Prix in Montreal. Ferrari's Lewis Hamilton finished 2nd, and Red Bull's Max Verstappen was 3rd. Felix Rosenqvist won the closest finish in the history of the Indianapolis 500, beating David Malukas by 23 1/1000ths at the finish line. The previous closest finish came in 1992 when Al Unser Jr. beat Scott Goodyear by 0.043 seconds. There was a moment of silence before yesterday's Coca-Cola 600 at Charlotte Motor Speedway in honor of Kyle Busch, who died of pneumonia that progressed into sepsis last week. Daniel Suarez went on to win NASCAR's longest race of the season, which was cut short by rain. Canada beat Slovakia 5-1 to remain unbeaten at the World Hockey Championship. After starting the CEBL season with back-to-back losses, the Niagara River Lions edged Edmonton 101-99. Rain washed out the Hamilton Cardinals and Welland Jackfish games over the weekend. And if you missed it Saturday, the Ticats lost their preseason opener 20-10 against the Argos.
Okay, let's check weather and traffic. Right now, we'll start with traffic. It's 6:14 on your Monday, and if you see a little fog outside right now in Hamilton, the Kitchener area, that's to be expected, and it will eventually burn off, as we can start to see right now. But on the roads, there's a yellow alert out there for those areas from Environment Canada for foggy conditions, especially in upper areas. Let's go to the Ford plant, and we'll see what's happening now. So again, this is kind of typical of what's going on here. We do have some wet roads after some rain overnight. and some foggy conditions as well, but the sun is starting to break through, so we're looking okay. On the roads, traffic is building, looking at the 403 and Mavis Road, 403 and Dundas. Let's go back to the Hamilton area, looking through the Burlington Skyway Bridge, so it's really building up right now. So again, traffic is building as it usually does in the usual places on a Monday, so just give yourself a little extra time and grab your sunglasses as you head out the door, because eventually, if you've got fog in your area, it will get burned off. All right, let's check the weather now and see what's happening, and I think you're going to like it. A little bit later on in this half hour, we'll give you the extended forecast, and there's lots of sun involved with that. So what's changed? Well, low pressure in the upper level, which used to give us cloudy conditions, rainy conditions, cool conditions, has moved away. High pressure's moved in, and that brings warm air because, in part, we do see clearer skies, or we'll be seeing clear skies over the next few days. So temperatures are going to get up to and beyond normal, which is about 21 degrees for this time of year. Right now, as you head out the door, Hamilton 13 along with Mississauga, 11 in Grimsby, Toronto looking at 9 degrees, so a little bit warmer than it's been. Sun was up at 5:47, we'll be down at 8:47 tonight. Normal highs 21, lows of 10 degrees. I'm looking for a fair amount of sun today. Low pressure is moving away, so there's still some cloud associated with that, but high pressure is moving in, helping to clear the skies, also helping to bring in the warmer air, so that's some good news. And it looks like over the next 6 or 7 days, high pressure will dominate our conditions, which is kind of nice. A high today of 24 degrees. Again, some morning fog in the areas we talked about. UV very high at 8 and 20 kilometer-an-hour winds as we look into tonight. We're looking for a low of 13, so that's a little bit warmer than seasonal with some light winds and a few clouds. And again, more sunny conditions tomorrow. 27, feeling like 28, and again, should be another nice day ahead of us. Wednesday, some showers, but we'll talk about that in a few minutes. That's it for now.
Okay, thanks very much. Well, coming up after the break, Emily is back. Yay! We don't have to do entertainment news. She's going to tell us everything that's coming up in Chit Chat News. Now, in business news, Hyundai has issued an international recall over some pretty serious brake concerns. 6:18 right now. Let's say good morning. Yay, she's back. Emily is back, and she has more on what's coming up in Chit Chat.
Hi, good morning, guys. A storm is brewing for Brendan Fraser and Andrew Scott in a new drama about the Second World War. A puppet making workshop, so cute, but it kind of gives it all away. This is founded, of course, by legendary creator of the Muppets. It's opening its doors and giving us tours, but again, I feel like it kind of takes away the magic. What do you mean Elmo's not real? Just kidding.
Elmo's not real.
I know, see, right? And later on this morning, we'll take a look at the box office numbers.
All right, thanks, Emily.
Take a look at business numbers right now. Checking the markets in overseas trading. The dollar is up a bit to 72.38 cents U.S. Gold is up $39, and crude oil, as a result of reports that a deal to end the war in Iran is almost here. It's down about 5%, so $4.50 to $92.16 a barrel. Midday trading in Europe, London, Frankfurt, and Paris, all up this hour.
Asian markets were all up today, led by the Nikkei, which gained more than 1,800 points. And by Friday's close, the North American markets had posted gains, the TSX up by 60 points.
Hyundai is recalling more than 421,000 vehicles. A software issue could cause the brakes to unexpectedly activate, increasing the risk of a crash. Hyundai says the problem originates from the front camera software used by forward collision avoidance assist programs. 4 crashes in the United States have been reported as a result of this issue. This recall covers certain Hyundai Santa Cruz, Tucson hybrids, and Tucson plug-in hybrids, the model years 2025 and 2026.
There are 80 new Tim Hortons locations coming to Canada this year. Ontario will be getting 26 new restaurants, including in Hamilton, Cambridge, and Guelph. 400 current restaurants will also be undergoing renovations. Tim Hortons says the new and redone shops will feature better lighting and layouts and improved digital kiosks to order from. All of the projects together are expected to cost around $400 million. All right, quick time out. Steve is going to be back with a traffic update and your 7-day weather forecast. Stay with us.
Welcome back to Morning Live at 6:24 on your Monday morning. And although it's not officially on the Environment Canada list of foggy places, well, nonetheless, here it is down in Niagara, in the St. Catharines area for sure. Garden City Skyway eastbound. So if you're in that area, just give yourself some extra time. Fortunate that the traffic is fairly light right now as we move up into the Hamilton area. Starting to see the sun break through, although it's a little on the slow side now, heading Toronto bound here away from us. Guelph line looking starting to build up here, but we start to see that the roads are getting dried now after last night's fog and rainy conditions. Up by the Ford plant, seeing no major problems, but traffic is building. So good start to the day. 6:25. Let's have a look and see, and we'll look at our extended forecast now. And I think you're going to like the weather over the next few days. First of all, though, let's check your temperatures outside. Hamilton 13, Grimsby 11, Mississauga also 13, and Toronto 9 degrees to start the day. So a little bit warmer, and we'll see some foggy conditions right now and cloudy conditions over the next little while, but warmer air is coming and high pressure is building in, which will give us clear skies, which helps to elevate the temperature as well over the next few days. So we're going to see less clouds, not much rain, maybe Wednesday, and again, warmer temperatures out there. So that's kind of nice. As you go outside today, we're going to have to 23, 24 into the afternoon, and again, cloudy skies to start, but clearing up in the afternoon. So it's going to be a nice day, and your evening commute should be under 23, 24 degree temperatures and mostly sunny skies. So a good start to the day. Okay, here's what you're going to like here. So checking ahead. Yeah, we got some rain on Wednesday, but just a 30% chance of that right now. We could see some other showers or thunderstorms later on the day and other days because of daytime heating, but otherwise we're looking in good shape. Even through the weekend now, looking pretty good if all holds into place. So let's enjoy it. That's a look at things for now.
Okay, thanks very much. Well, a tiny discovery made deep in the Pacific Ocean is making very big scientific news.
Yeah, a new species of octopus has been discovered near the Galapagos Islands. It's blue and small enough to fit in your hand. Scientists with the Charles Darwin Foundation found it using a remotely operated vehicle in waters more than 1,700 meters deep. The little blue octopus was spotted in 2015, and it's taken this long to identify it as being unlike any other octopus discovered before. The lead researcher behind the discovery says, quote, "It represents everything in the deep sea that we don't even know exists."
That's fascinating.
Guess you can't make octopus legs out of that, like in a recipe.
So little tiny.
They're tiny. You wouldn't want to.
No.
It's too cute.
And there aren't enough of them.
Yeah. Stay with us. More to come after the break here on Morning Live. Good morning.